Hi, welcome back to Channel 6 TV, Community Focus here in Nelson County. Glad you could join us today. We're going to wind things up here before long because it's almost November the 8th. And November the 8th is the day that you, the voters, gets to make the decision of what goes on in your government, whether it's federal government, state government, local government. Well, we're going to talk about local government today, Bardstown City Council. So we got with us here today Mr. Bill Buckman. And Bill, first of all, thank you for showing up. We appreciate you being here today.
Glad to be here with y'all today.
Well, you know, you've been on the, well, I'm not going to say, you know, city council is anything new to you because you've been around public service for a number of years in Bardstown.
Yeah, I worked 21 years for the Bardstown Police Department and retired, 3 years ago. And when John ran for mayor, I decided to, and the spot came open, the people approached me and I decided to throw my hat in the ring, and lo and behold, I got in it. So, it's been an interesting 2 years.
Well, we'll get into that, but the political world a lot different from the police world?
Oh, Lord. The public doesn't realize the inner working cogs of a city, and the amount of people involved and the amount of money involved and the amount of meetings and goings-ons behind the scenes that get you your water, get you your electricity, get you your streets and sidewalks and all that, and it was kind of overwhelming at the first, and you know, they try to explain it to you, but I've been in city government and I had my own business. I owned Buckman gun shop for years, and I was a machinist for American Reading and Bardstown for years, and so I've worked with numbers and stuff, but it's nothing compared to a $49 million budget.
Well, when you're a police officer, you got the good guy and the bad guy. How do you figure out the good guy and the bad guy in politics?
Well, you can't. Yeah, the one you think's the good guy, blindsides you. I found that out in the council meetings, that when you think you've got a vote and everything's going to go through, you've worked and got and you think you got the vote, and then when it comes time to vote, they throw you under the bus. And this is the hardest thing as a new councilman, was to learn all this while you're working, and then compound it by the conflict every meeting and the animosity between the three councilmen and the other three and the mayor. There was always distractions from what should have been the principal point of taking care of city business. And my first year was just hard to get a grip of what I'm supposed to be doing and what I'm supposed to, you know, doing city business. And that's what a councilman, I feel like I was hired by the city, people of the city, to take care of business for them. It's a business. When you got $48 million budget, that's a business. And I feel like I'm accountable. So, like I said last night, every decision I tried to make it in the better interest of the city. And how a working class, which worked in the factories, I was a blue collar worker, my dad was a blue collar worker, you know, how's that going to affect them? But on the other hand, you have to say, well, the city has to go from day to day. The wheels are going to turn, whether you're there or not. It's going to turn no matter what decision you make. So you have to make those decisions so those wheels turn for the public. So.
Well, you made a mention last night, and I know this is what gets into the mayor situation, that you think a lot of people, you said the wrong mayor was elected, and you think some people just never did accept the fact that John Royalty become mayor. Yes. They just never did accept that election as valid.
It's obvious. It was obvious from the get-go. I mean, they were on the attack from the beginning. And if you notice, when I first sat on the council, I didn't speak much. I sat back and I go, how did these people do this for 20 years? How did they do it? I thought, you know, at least they gave me a gun and a stick. Yeah, I'm up here, you know, I got to fight.
You're unarmed.
I'm unarmed. And it was kind of, and then it got to be disappointing that I thought, well, you know, this is really sad that we're at this point. And I think, well, it's going to get better, but it never got better. There was always hidden agendas. There was always trying to circumvent the mayor's authority. And if you look in KRS, I think KRS 9.5, you know, it's like the mayor says, the council's responsibility is ordinances and the budget.
Uh-huh.
All this other stuff is administrative. That's what we have a mayor for. That's what we have a personnel manager. That's why we have section heads. Mm-hmm. Just like the military, you have a rank structure, and these things have to go through these procedures. Just like the police officer Bill of Rights, you just can't go and bring things out in the public, and it violates that man's rights. Mm-hmm. You know, and I tried to bring that forth, but a lot of issues just should have been handled behind, not hidden, but they're admitted.
Do you think a lot of this is a lack of understanding, or just don't care, or or a hidden agenda, as you mentioned?
It's hidden agendas, and they talk about transparency. I don't know how much more. I go to the city hall at least 2 or 3 times a week, and not just the mayor. I see Kathy to pick up information. I talk to Larry because I'm on 4 different committees. I'm head of the safety committee, and the safety committee's been running wide open for 2 years. Had the police issues, you had the fire department. I was in on the negotiations with the fire and the city fire and the corporation. Everybody refers to it the county. It's not the county.
Yeah.
It's a corporation. It's a business. It's no different than when I was union steward negotiating a Bardstown contract. It's negotiating the same thing with this corporation. Bardstown was a corporation. The fire is a corporation. It's not the county. But they just service the county. But
well, like I said, you know, whether they're hidden agendas or what they are, do you feel like you've got anything done over the last several years?
Oh, yes. Yes. You know, I want to go back to that in defense of last night, and I think last night was not good. I think there was a lot of issues that were passed over that should be talked about. We don't need to air out all this in public. And the mayor thing, the media has done beat it to death. You know, we need to talk about budget. We need to talk about downtown, how to improve things, how to increase our tax flow, how to improvements for the city, how to get more tourists into town. That's the topics that I would have liked seen covered last night.
Well,
and I was ready for them.
Well, I know you and the mayor have had a running battle, I guess, with the local newspaper. Do you feel like you've gotten a bad shake from them?
Yeah, I think if you tell them one thing and then they print another, or they don't get all the facts. And a lot of times we weren't able to give them facts because we were in negotiation on the fire. And, you know, you have other people from outside. In social media, I don't have Facebook, I don't Twitter, I don't do any of this stuff. I think it's a bad policy if you're in politics or a police officer or a public servant. You open yourself up for a lot of negative feedback by being on Facebook and places. But you have a tendency to voice your opinion. They get you in trouble. You know, if you want to hear something from me, you come ask me, and I'll be glad to tell you.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, I know people use the word transparency. Is transparency there?
Oh, there's nothing that you couldn't find out at City Hall. And the information, like I said, I was on the police and fire safety committee, I'm on the water sewer committee, I'm on the cable committee, and I had no problem. Every committee, I had my information, and at the council, I took it back and delivered it back to them. But you have people that would never step foot in City Hall, never once darkened the mayor's door, because...
Are you talking citizens or city council?
No, I'm talking about council.
Council.
Because the animosity and the resentment for them being there, that they're not going to entertain him at all. They didn't respect the position. They didn't respect his authority. And they say, well, he was a dictator. I've never seen that. I don't see that. He's running a business. And to my point, if you got a $48 million budget, somebody better be running the business. Mm-hmm. You know, but no, there's nothing. His door was open, and Larry Green's door was open, and Barbie, any question I had, if I didn't understand something, Tracy, I was there today for the safety committee, and she went over some stuff in the budget that I didn't understand. That's, you know, and there's plenty of transparency.
Well, again, you go back to the split of the fire department, the change in the fire department. Was all that available to all the city council anytime they wanted? Or they just didn't?
I brought all that information and handed it out at the safety committee, and then I brought it back to the council and presented to them. You know, the everyday workings of it. You know, when you got 6 guys that's on a board that controls the corporation, and you know, I went to the meeting and they're sitting there playing their iPad when we're trying to negotiate. I thought, I mean, there was no motivation to stay together. Mm-hmm. I knew where this was going from day one, and I hate it for the county because we missed an opportunity to have a 24/7 fire department countywide. Yeah. And I don't regret having to come up with extra money for the fire department. I think we got one of the finest fire departments that we do. And we're EMT trained. We've been saving lives. And the thing about the people in the city didn't realize that they were paying twice for the same service, for fire service. And a lot of times there'd be no firefighter in the city. There wouldn't be a fire truck in the city. And I talk to them guys at Rex and stuff, and they pray when they leave that firehouse that there's no fire in town. Because we're not going to be there. We're down to Cox Creek. We're down to High Grove at a wreck or something, and the city's been unprotected.
Well, you know, we talk about one side of the table here when you've been negotiating with the county for the rec department and all the other things. And we always talk about the side of the table where the mayor is being dictatorial and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. Is there another side? What's the county side? Has the county have they been unflexible? Is the county not wanting to come to the good faith?
It's not the county. It's a corporation in the fire. Mm-hmm. But and something else I learned, that these interlocal agreements. Now I looked at them from a non-bias. I have no interest and I have no business. I have no hidden agendas. I'm retired. I can go fishing as well as I can do this. But when I looked at the interlocal agreements that were brought into effect back years ago, you know, just like recreation, they were paying $100,000. Mm-hmm. Well, I drove by the swimming pool one day and there's all these subcontractors mowing the grass. And I said, Mayor, why we got all these subcontractors mowing this grass? Well, they're all out to Dean Watts Park mowing. I said, well, wait a minute now. This, you know, the numbers are turning my head here. Why are we paying people to do the same thing and we got people going somewhere else to do? So, well, you know, you looked at the money and I've got the figures as far as recreation. You know, we were paying, the county was paying us $100,000. Well, the city, it was costing us close to $400,000. And we were going out there doing all the work plus paying the subcontract work. So, when Dean negotiated, he said, well, we were going to raise it some to balance it out. And this is the same thing, that's the same amount they paid since '95. In 2015, it's the same $100,000. Now, you don't think gas has gone up, manpower, insurance, all this has gone up?
No inflation, cost of living or anything?
Our side went up. Mm-hmm. You know, and this is being paid out of county taxes. Well, wait a minute, I'm a city employee. I'm in the city. I pay city taxes, I pay county taxes. And then my taxes are being paid again to pay these interlocal agreements. Well, now I'm paying twice. How come people out in the county ain't paying but once for the same service that I'm getting? Mm-hmm. You know, it was all balanced, and there was an honest attempt to rectify these. We offered Dean, or I just say the mayor offered Dean to add a $10 increase to the taxes. The corporation asked him to put an additional $10 on, which he did later after the interlocal shut down. He refused. He said, I'll let them go back stuffing envelopes to get their money. Well, that's why we separated. We couldn't come to agreement. But after we separated, he allowed them to put the $10 on. I think that he wanted to separate anyway. And I think even Bill Shekels recommended that we separate. Mm-hmm. I think the city is better off with their own fire department. I think that we need to these interlocal agreements if they can't balance them out. And I was a big opposition to the 911. You know, the 911, we're going to spend $200,000 this year for 911. where we could have had the same thing done for 22,000 or so. And to me, that's just bad business.
Now, as a police officer, you understand this probably better than
I
I
have
do.
fought this fault, and I apologized, and I'll apologize again that I spoke out of turn speaking that the dispatchers were a problem. The dispatchers was not the problem. They're good people, they work hard back there, and they're good dispatchers. It's the equipment and the things they have to work with that we had to work with that we just didn't have no service. I could stand in the parking lot of Bardstown Police Department, and they're 100 yards away and couldn't talk to me. I spent more time on my cell phone calling back to the police department to get my information than I did on the radio.
So you feel like the state police could provide as equal or better service than what we currently have in the dispatch?
The way I understand, the county's still at like tier 1, and I don't know what it's going to cost us next year if we stay in this interlocal agreement to upgrade the computer systems and the equipment to get us to where the state police is already almost at. So,
Like I said, there's a lot of things to look at, a lot of things I'm sure you've learned over the last 2 years that's make you a better councilman, or when you go back in this next time, you'll be a different, better, improved.
I think if we seat a good council, and I'm lucky enough to get back in, I hope I seat some people that are more business minded, that have no hidden agendas, and can sit and communicate with the mayor and with the other councilmen, and we could. It'd be so much more enjoyable. We could get so much more done. Now, we got a lot done this year. I don't think, they gave us a failing grade, but I'd like to say that, we spent $3.3 million on the new water system. We upgraded the sewers, we upgraded sidewalks. I think we were 5 years behind on blacktopping. We appropriated more money for it and was getting our roads back in shape. We implemented a $1.3 million for new electric meters that we can, upgrades. We got 300,000 electrical upgrade, water upgrades. The sewers. God knows the sewer systems are old.
So business.
That's right. These things is infrastructure, and if we don't have good infrastructure, when these factories come here, we've located 5 new factories this year. You have to have infrastructure to support them. I'm a big advocate for finding us a new water source. I'm not an advocate for hooking on to Louisville. I think if we do, I think our water treatment plant is not compatible with theirs, what I've been told. So we'd have a storage building for $1.4 million. And I just don't like relinquishing services that we sell to the public. See, if we buy Louisville water, then we're going to have to turn around, we'll lose that revenue.
Right.
So I think we need to work on our water supply, and we got new garbage trucks. These are the everyday things, the wheels that turn behind the scenes that people take for granted.
But all this animosity basically has overshadowed everything.
It has. It's a distraction. It's been nothing but a distraction. It has achieved no good outcomes. But these wheels kept turning. And these councilmen voted for these issues here. And we got it done, but it's sad we could have had so much more done if we could have all got worked together. But that just wasn't going to work.
Well, Bill, is there anything in particular you want to address the voters about before we get out of here to make sure they know before November 8th election?
I gave my 2 years. I never missed a meeting. I was never missed a committee meeting. I worked diligently. I worked a lot of nights and a lot of off days, and I've sacrificed the city. I've put more time in than I did with the police department sometimes, but I don't regret it because I feel like I was born and raised here, and my grandchildren are here. My daughter's still here, and I want to leave this town a little bit better than when I was born into it. And I think we've got a great town. All this other stuff just overshadows it and just a distraction. But day in, day out, we got a great town. And I think the council has done a good job, and the administration at City Hall, I say the administration at City Hall, has done a great job. Larry Hamilton and them, and getting these projects going in and not being distracted by this other rigmarole.
Welcome to the world of politics.
Ain't that the truth?
Bill Buckman here. He's running for Bardstown City Council. And again, November the 8th, Tuesday, November the 8th is Election Day. That's the day that you show up. That's the day that you show up and make your selection for what you want to see our world to look like in the coming years. Bill, again, appreciate you being here.
Appreciate it.
And thank you for being here. Thank you for the service you've provided all these many years. And we wish you all the best.
I hope I keep serving.
Stick around. We got a lot more to come on Channel 6 TV. Stick around here on Community Focus. I'm Kenny Fogle. We'll see you next time.